Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Undergraduate, a percussion-based podcast. From repertoire to everyday life lessons, we are seeking to share our experiences as current students. And as you can see, of course, we have another guest with us. Our guest today is a percussionist and composer currently based in Boston, Massachusetts. Most recently, he was the winner of the 2019 PAS International Composition Contest, and his compositions have been performed at various music educator conferences in the country. With a background in piano, he began studying percussion in high school and has been a participant of the Juilliard School's summer percussion seminar, as well as classical studies at the Eastman School of Music. He performed at Carnegie Hall in Wind Ensemble for distinguished concerts, internationals, NY's Wind Songs in 2018. That's a tongue twister. As a native of California, he studied under the tutelage of San Francisco Symphony's principal percussionist Jake Nissly and Silk Road Ensemble artist Haruka Fujii, I think. I hope that's how you pronounce it.
I should have practiced that.
I should have, but Anyways, in the San Francisco Bay Area, and is now pursuing a degree in percussion performance in his first year at Boston University on a full Fine Arts Performance Award scholarship. And in his free time, he enjoys writing and arranging music on the side and occasionally posts performances of his works on YouTube. And his music can also be found on his website, which we will link below, arnormusic.com. Welcome, Arnor Chu.
Wow, thank you.
Yes.
That's actually outdated. I'm not in my first year anymore.
He's not in his first year, so and is now pursuing a degree in percussion performance in his second year at Boston University on a full Fine Arts Performance Award scholarship. Yeah, we'll edit that out.
No, we can do that. We're off to a great start.
Yeah, great start.
Off to a great start.
Great start. Sweet. So yeah, again, it's great to have you on here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So, I have to ask, how's your Christmas break and your New Year's? We're getting right into it.
All right. I mean, this is my first Christmas, New Year's away from home. I stayed in Boston, but I thought it was pretty fun, honestly.
Did you do anything exciting?
Yeah, I had a friend from home come visit me, and we kind of just hung out.
Nice, very nice. Yeah. Any practice or what?
Short answer, no. Long answer, no.
Nice.
I mean, like, it's not like I didn't work on music stuff. I just didn't go to practice.
Gotcha.
That makes sense.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Nice. Cool.
Hey, I didn't practice that much either. Okay. We all need to take a break. When is the last time David practiced? That's what
when was the last time I practiced?
Yeah, David, when's the last time you practiced, man? You got your practice pad or what?
It's been a freaking hot minute. I've just mainly been doing music stuff on my laptop.
Oh, you're still doing the like electronic stuff.
Oh,
nice.
I haven't really like done any like actual hard practicing for a hot minute.
I know you have the mallet station though, right?
Yeah.
Oh, really? How's that?
It's pretty okay. Sponsor me. It's really nice. It's just basically like a keyboard MIDI controller that you can basically use any kind of instrument on. I think for you, Arnor, it might actually be a pretty good investment.
I don't know. I always just felt like I'd rather just have a MIDI controller, like an actual keyboard. But which I do. I don't know. I see a lot of people on Instagram like using it now, so.
Yeah,
I see them use it with different instruments. Like they have it with the vibraphone setup kind of thing, so they're not just using it as like a solo instrument. So it's like I don't know. I saw David use it as a xylophone. Like he played his orchestral audition.
Oh my god!
I did my orchestral excerpts on this thing. It was wild.
Oh my gosh.
It was clean. You played it clean.
Yeah, you edit the MIDI afterwards. You quantize it.
Yeah, you did. Oh man.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah. Actually, speaking of like what you've been doing at home, are there any like projects that you could really tell us about, or are there things that you'll just like keep on the DL?
Yeah, I actually over break I worked on a commission. It was this like 4.3 octave marimba and vibe duet. That is hopefully gonna premiere next year or this year, I guess. But other than that, that's about it, honestly.
So just
tell us more.
Yeah.
Wait,
follow-up question.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was commissioned by Modern Marimba, which is
okay.
this organization.
So was that like a specific requirement on 4.3 or you know?
Yeah, because they wanted a piece that was more accessible, especially for high schoolers. I know when I was in high school, we didn't have 5-octave marimbas. We had those, the marching.
Yep.
Marching Yamaha acoustic.
Yeah.
The
Acoustalons.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
Oh yeah.
We had the Adams ones.
Oh. Okay.
Oh,
was-
those are so bad.
Aren't they like
Yeah.
red bars or?
Exactly, they're red.
We have it.
They ring forever.
We have it at Lamar.
That's right. I took
really?
one home. Why did I not remember that? Yeah,
We have
for, like,
10
the
of them at our undergrad school. 10 of them. It was crazy.
Wow.
Anyway.
A
Yeah.
little too many, I guess.
That's a very modern marimba thing to ask for. Like they're like super considerate. So yeah,
Right,
they will
right.
ask for 4.3. That makes sense.
But my first pieces were actually for 4.3 for that specific reason. It's because when I was in high school, that was the only thing, that I had to record on.
So, like, did most of your like pieces starting out they were for 4.3?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The one I wrote last year, the competition one, that was my first 5-octave piece actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. I listened to that. It's pretty dope, dude.
Oh, thanks.
Honestly. For those of you listening, go check it out. Wait, what's the title?
It's Until Dawn.
Until Dawn. Yeah.
Yeah.
How long is it?
Yeah.
It's like 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
It looked kind of choppy, like a little bit, right? It looks pretty
Yeah,
choppy.
it's pretty choppy.
It's a lot of octave lateral stuff.
Yeah, I kind of like overplayed when I was practicing that one. Honestly, I kind of like had to take a break because
You just chopped out.
Yeah. But I got it at the end.
For
That's all that
sure.
matters.
For sure.
Yeah.
So like, since we're on the topic of composition, so like, can you talk about what inspired you, like, of your writing? Because I feel like some of your writing feels like it's kind of marching band a little bit, and then I could see like some of the technique that you use.
Yeah. That's because I actually haven't been playing percussion for that long. I started in high school.
Wow.
And I started because of marching band. So that's like kind of my basis. Like that's what got me into playing marimba.
Well, that's the big thing in California. Like,
oh yeah,
I know how it is over there for sure. Like, huge marching.
Probably not as big
influence.
as Texas though, right?
No, I would.
Holy crap!
I don't know. I would say California is like. If I had to describe it, it's like, to me, the West Coast is just like heavy marching, and then
Really?
Texas is like kind of like middle. It's like kind of does both, and then
Yeah,
the East Coast is like super.
We don't have as
orchestral.
much indoor. We don't have as much indoor.
Yeah.
Right. We have a lot of indoor. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's
And where
what
I'm
it is.
from, it's like, literally, it's like 30 minutes north is Blue Devils, 30 minutes south is Vanguard.
Exactly.
So I was like right in there, and that's where all of our instructors came from. So literally, every time I play, it's like immediately, oh, this guy's marching, And I've been trying really hard to, get away from that, but it's inevitable.
Did you do any of that? Like, did you do any?
Yeah, actually, I was going to until I got into the Eastman program, and then I picked that over, and I'm really glad I did, because I feel like you can really get sucked into the marching,
Yep.
Yeah, Shane. Just ask you.
Oh man.
How long did you march, Shane? 17 years or something?
I started marching in 2016, and I just recently aged out. So like.
Oh wow.
I'm also getting. I'm very much getting. I'm pretty much away from it now. Pretty much. But,
yeah.
It took me a long time to be done with it. So.
Yeah.
Well, who pushed you to the Eastman thing? Because you're, like you say, you're surrounded by like marching stuff. Like, what leads you to the Eastman thing?
Well, the thing is, before percussion, I did piano for like most of my life, and so, I guess, in my mind, like doing concert, orchestral, like classical stuff, still was more like acceptable, or I don't know what's the word, like more high class, I guess. And I was like, oh, this sounds better. Also, I was a huge fan of Ivan and Burritt, and so I was like, yeah, Easton,
For sure.
Yeah, you had mentioned you had played piano throughout your entire life, or for most of it.
Yeah.
Do you think having that experience, like knowing how to maneuver around a piano, do you think that would help with like your composition process?
Oh yeah, 100%. For me, I still feel like piano is my native instrument. Does that make sense? It's like whatever I can hear in my head, it comes most naturally out just through piano. And actually, I've been composing a lot longer than I've been playing percussion. I was kind of a really bad student, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I never practiced, and like to the point where one of my piano teachers was like, I can't teach you anymore, you don't practice. And I had to find a new teacher. I'm not even joking. And it's because I just have such a short attention span. I feel like when I'm practicing, I just start like playing my own stuff, like I just start, I can't focus on a single piece for too long. And so, in that sense, I've been, coming up with music a lot longer than percussion. So, yeah.
Well, I'm curious though, because you seem so much, like you said, you like compose more than you practice. Like, so why did you decide to do performance major?
Because, that's a really good question. Because I can never be a composition major. First of all, I mean, have you met some of them?
You
know what I mean?
Say.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, like for me, deadlines. Like for me, even now, I feel like composition has always just been to the side, like a kind of hobby. I just do it in my free time, or if I ever come up with something when I'm just messing around. But I think. I mean, even for composers, it's really important to be well-rounded. And obviously, no one wants to be the composer who can't actually play their own music. You know what I mean? Which, unfortunately, some of them are like that. But, I want to... Sorry, I'm not trying to blame anyone. But...
John Acker.
Okay. Okay.
What?
Yeah, what? Yeah, but... I feel like I still have a long way to go in terms of, being a musician. And for me, I got to be able to, I think in order to write good music, you got to be able to perform good music. And, yeah.
That's fair. Plus, I feel like, you probably get more composition idea once you learn more reps.
Yeah, exactly. I have such a limited repertoire list. It's, like, embarrassing. Honestly.
What consists of that? Like, what do you usually like listen to that influences you like in your music? Like Michael said, like of course like marching arts like technique wise, but like I guess tonally and like overall, you know what I mean?
I think the first thing that kind of got me, it wasn't marching band that really got me into like, oh, you know what, this is really cool. I kind of want to try to like do percussion. It was obviously I learned, what the instruments were. Oh, marimba, vibraphone, whatever. And you go home and you go on YouTube and you type it in and you see the stuff that comes up. At first, the first videos that come up are the Vic Firth videos, right?
Yes.
And I watched a few of those, and I was like, oh, this kind of sounds like crap. Like, like I was
Wait,
like,
did you listen to Comrade?
Yeah, or some more contemporary like new music. And I was like, oh, you know what? I don't think I'm really into this. And then obviously, you come across Ivan's music, and I think I can't be the only one that like saw Catching Shadows and was like, oh, this is amazing. Even though now we're like, oh my god, you don't want to hear Catching Shadows ever again. But that kind of like groovy kind of like, it felt like this music was obviously written for marimba, and that's the appropriate instrument for it. You know what I mean? It's like no other instrument would play this kind of music better. And so I feel like that is probably my first like influence into thinking like, oh wow, writing music for this is actually kind of cool. And I think in general, I just like good sounding music. Like my one of my teachers, Sam Solomon, I think you guys probably know him. He really likes doing the new music stuff. Honestly, I mean, sorry, Sam. Some of it is a little too much for me, but I think generally, that kind of piano background really, I like the tonal. I like the tonal stuff. And Pius is another percussionist. I feel like you can't not mention him.
Michael.
Yeah,
exactly. you love Pius, man.
I do love Pius.
Yeah. And obviously, honestly, growing up, I mean, I already said I wasn't a very good student. I just listen to pop music, honestly. Like, I'm not gonna lie, when I go into like music history class and everyone knows all these symphonies and they like can just name these composers, I feel kind of stupid. I don't know if you guys can relate. Maybe you guys are like
Dude, I'm
music
right there
nerds
with you.
too.
Yeah, no, I feel that to some extent. Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, and I don't feel like I'm very well read as a musician. You know what I mean? So yeah, those are my influences.
I mean, you are in your second year of undergrad. Like I was not there when like at that time. Like it's totally understandable, for sure. I was gonna ask something that came. Oh yeah. Is there any like specific? Because I have an idea or like a specific culture like pops into my mind when I hear your music. Is there any like? I don't know if I'm guessing right. If you could just, I don't know, any specific culture that you like relate to in your music.
Is this a race question?
Yeah.
Asking about his race.
No, like
to me. Did you know
okay,
that
yes, I meet all of us. All of us are. It sounds very like Japanese to me. Like very.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Modern, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Japanese pop.
Yeah, the problem is, okay, I feel like a lot of my music, honestly, Sam told me this, like, just straight up. He's like, this is piano music. And, I mean,
disagree.
It's kind of... I actually agree. I agree. It sounds better on piano, always. It always sounds better on piano. And I am trying, honestly, I'm honestly trying really hard for it to not be piano music. Because, again, it's like you hear, or coming back to, like, Ivan's music, I feel like that's, like, real percussion music, Like, yes, it's really poppy. Yes, it's really, it's like, I mean, academically people don't take it seriously, but it sounds like it was written for the instrument, and that's the instrument it's written for. And Burrett's music too, like, what was the one that I heard like not too long ago? It was like Sweet Dreams and Time Machines, I think.
I like that beat.
That one, I really like that one, and that to me feels like, yes, this is a percussion. This is not a piano piece that is like adapted for marimba. It's like, this is a percussion piece, you know. Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that's a sound that you yourself have found, and if like that's your thing, I think that's awesome. You know, who's to say that? Oh, it sounds like piano music. It's like, well, you literally grew up on the piano, so it's expected.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I feel like Shane, you're saying that to me, because recently Shane showed me his composition, and I kind of told him like, it sounds like indoor show.
Whatever.
I feel like
hey man, it's commissioned. It's commissioned. I'm getting money for it.
That's all that matters, man.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of commission, did you feel like because like the recent project, it was a commission, does that feel different than your usual composition?
Yeah,
like maybe
totally.
Process or.
I don't take commissions very often, to be honest. I turn down quite a few because that's kind of not how I work. And that's the reason why I said earlier, I don't think I could be a composition major where you have to fit these deadlines and you have to just churn out music. Because for me, it really is like, I don't want to churn out something that I'm not proud of, or something that I just kind of wrote because I had to. I feel like with commissions, that's kind of what happens. And yeah, I don't want to put my name on something where I don't feel like 100% behind.
Right.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Because it's a hobby. That makes sense.
Right.
Because like when hobby turns into a job, it's different.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you...
Well, I guess in a way musician are... Oh, go ahead, Dave.
Oh, sorry. If you were going to take like a commission from like a really high-profile percussionist, and they wanted you to do something like really outside your comfort zone, so like you mentioned earlier, you really didn't jive too much with the atonal, like contemporary music.
Right. I'm trying though, I gotta say.
Would you consider writing a commission for that person if it was within that genre?
If it's Ivan Trevino.
My first question is, why would they come to me, you know? Because I think when people go and look for commissions, right, it's usually because they like their other music. And if you hear my music, it's like, you know, like you wouldn't come to me for that kind of stuff. At least I feel like. But if... Well, I mean, that's a really good question.
That is a good point. No, that is a good point, though, because, like, usually when you commission someone, it's because can you write more of the same with your music?
Right.
Maybe with a slight twist. So I think that's just a terrible question, David.
David, dude.
More of like a hypothetical, like...
Yeah.
They like your style, but if you could just try to warp it towards more of, like, the musician's, like, personal taste, would you try to consider doing something like that?
Yeah. I mean, nothing is off the table, especially now, right?
I think that's also good to experiment with that stuff, because that just gives you more knowledge about your own writing, you know?
Yeah,
like
definitely. I don't want to like close any doors and just say like, yeah, I don't like this. That's not what I want to do. And I think that's another reason why right now I definitely feel like, you know, being a student, doing the percussion performance is number one for me. And right now, my number one job is to just learn as much as I can, because I don't know what I'm actually going to like, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Well, I think, okay, I have to ask this. So you have like almost 2,000 subscribers on YouTube, and then you have you kind of self-publish a couple of music, right? So like, do you have like any strategy that you use to promote yourself, or how's it been working? I don't know. I guess that's
Okay, well, I guess that's like kind of two questions. The first, strategy wise, with the self-publishing, I'm basically just copying Ivan Trevino. I mean, I'm just gonna say it. He has a guide that he published for some percussive arts notes, and it's the guide to self-publishing. I basically just followed that, and how did I find? I mean, how do we find a lot of the rep that we like? It's on YouTube, right? And so that's why YouTube is just where I put my stuff, Yeah. I'm not a huge. I don't really do the social media thing, like personally or professionally, and I don't feel like it's worth my time. At least not now. Sorry, was that the question? I might have gone astray from the question. What was the original question?
Well, no, I mean that's pretty close to it. Like,
you were asking like how. Well, that's so you're saying you followed his thing to self-publish, right? And then
and how did I?
How do you normally like promote yourself? Is that what you're asking, Michael?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right. Well, I don't come out with new stuff very often. I feel like maybe 3 times a year, at most. Right. And I obviously spend a lot of time making a really good recording. Like, I spend a lot of time practicing it, polishing it, and then I set a day where I'm just like, okay, I'm going to spend 3 hours getting a really good take, and be able to stitch together a really good video. And then when I post it, I think that first 24 hours of uploading something is the most important, because afterwards, if no one really watches it in the first 24 hours, later on YouTube's never going to show it to anyone. And so what I do is typically I just kind of post on like Facebook. Facebook, I think that's the biggest one. Facebook groups are really really underrated, and I think a lot of people don't realize when you have a group of people who, let's be honest, this is so niche. No one, even people in music conservatories, hardly know about what we do, right? And so when you can find a group of people that have all come together, that are all interested in this one topic, in this case, marimba music or percussion, that is where you want to put your stuff, I feel like. And so that's literally all I do. I just share it in like what is that, like all marimba players?
Dude,
or like,
yeah. And
or
there's like
percussion talk, or
Yeah. It's like thousands of people in there sometimes, like
exactly.
in those groups. So it's like really put it out there.
Yeah, I think the first thing that I did that kind of blew up was, this is a long time. This is in high school. I think I was a junior. I came out with that ringtone, like that iPhone ringtone video.
Yeah.
And that one, I posted it on Reddit back then. And it was r/music. And it blew up on r/music. And I thought that video was gonna, blow, and it did. Comparatively, even now, it was like the most amount of views in that first 24 hours. But the problem was that everyone that was coming to watch it, they were watching because they knew the ringtone, like, oh, this is a cool variation. But they weren't percussionists. They weren't interested in marimba or this kind of music. They were just like, oh, this is a cool video. It's easy to share. And so they weren't long-lasting viewers who were going to come back for more. Mm-hmm. And I think that is probably the most important. And that's another reason why I feel like a lot of the social media stuff it's not worth my time, at least now as a student. because it takes a long time to cultivate a presence. I'm thinking Instagram, by the way. That's the only social media platform I have in mind. It takes a long time to cultivate a presence and to really get an audience, because a lot of the times people are just trying to get that quick, like, oh, it's a 30-second thing that people can share really easily, but doesn't really get to the kind of people that you want to get to. Yeah, that's what I think.
Gotcha.
And this kind of like, I heard someone describe it, the phrase like selling your soul to the devil, when you like promote yourself on Instagram and stuff like that. I don't know. I think friends will hate you for it sometimes if you do it so aggressively, I guess. But
right. I mean, some people are really successful.
Cameron Leach, I think, probably the most successful.
That's what I'm thinking of.
And
Actually,
Josh Jones now.
I watched another. Okay, this is kind of funny. I watched another percussion podcast at Percussion. I think you guys are probably. And I think there was an episode that they did with Cameron Leach. Who was it? It was
It's Casey.
Casey's in all of them.
And Cameron. I think it was. Wasn't it just them?
No, there was Matt Lau.
Oh.
And
he's good.
Another. Like, that episode was just about social media presence and how important they thought it was. And I remember Cameron himself saying that, yeah, I mean, honestly, it, like, all the time and effort I put into it, it was not worth it.
Really?
He said it himself, and he said he can maybe recall 1 or 2 gigs that he got through social media, actually. And it really is such a big time commitment to keep putting stuff out there. And I mean, I'm just a student. I mean, what am I doing every day? You know what I mean? Like that. Yeah, that's, yeah, no thanks.
I feel that. Should we take a small break together?
Yeah. Let's do that.
All right.
Let's do that. I'm gonna save this recording. It's still recording though, so I mean, is she coming in?
Yeah, I mean.
She said she was home. She's coming in.
Oh.
I'm gonna get some water. This is the first time we've had like a break.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
wait. Let me get some water too. Actually. Give me a sec.
I am going to pee. I'm going.
Who said that?
It wasn't me. It was Michael. With a big M.
Waiting for you.
Oh man. Shane, you never hit me up for any Call of Duty.
Dude, that's fine. We can play this weekend. We can play this weekend. I'm in student teaching right now. I'm still in some competitions, but like.
You were like, yeah, I sent in my grade plans like 17 years early. I'm like, wait a second.
I did though. It's due April, and I was like, both of these things I did for grad school are on the list.
Is Great Plains planning on doing this live, or?
So, the semis and finals, they're trying to do live. Whether it happens or not, who knows?
Oof.
Well.
Signed out? Oh no. Hope, what happened?
Wait, has
BU
started school back up, or?
BU starting this coming Monday, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Is everyone away from school? Like, is everyone home?
Yeah.
I am, yeah.
I am.
Oh, okay.
I'm still technically in school, but...
Oh, yeah?
Well, like, I'm ed major, so I'm student teaching.
I almost became an ed major.
I literally went through my whole degree, and at this point, I'm regretting it a little bit. Because, like, I literally do everything that the performance majors do.
But you won't be getting a performance degree.
But I'm not, I'm doing performance for grad. but I don't know. It's just like after I realized like what I need for what I want to do, I was like, why did I even do education? You know, like I technically don't need it. Technically,
yeah, I consider doing it. I consider doing it because, like, I thought, you know, oh, if I want to like teach in the future, or like this is gonna be more like guaranteed to get a job, maybe. But then, yeah, I don't know. I heard about it and I realized it wasn't for me.
Wait, what part? Well, I mean, we're not recording right now, but what part of it makes you not want to do it?
This can be edited in. We're good. Yeah.
Oh wait, are we still recording?
Yeah, we're still recording.
Oh shit.
Whoa, dude. Hey.
Hey, this is a freaking PG podcast.
Dude, are you serious, man?
No,
Okay.
He's gonna have to add a bleep. He's not gonna even cut it
Yeah.
out. He's just gonna flat out bleep it.
Here, let's get Hope in here. I'll kick Michael out. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Nice.
Okay, wait. The question. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Why didn't I do music ed? Because, you know, I mean, I was just looking at like my own band director back then. Actually, the only reason I applied to BU was because my band director went to BU. I honestly, I didn't even like that wasn't even in consideration. But you know, he was like, yeah, you know, when you do music ed, the path is you're going to teach K through 12, basically. And, you know, I want to teach, but I don't think I want to be a band director, you know? And, like, having to do all the paperwork and the logistics and the other stuff that comes with the job that isn't about the music, which I don't think people realize is a huge part of it.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
Oh, there we go. I think.
We did it.
It's okay. I'll edit it all out, you know? Yeah.
Wait. Start over.
Yeah, so we're back. Arnor,
Yes.
why'd you not decide to do
Random
music
question.
education?
Random question. No.
Random question? Why did I... Okay, well, you know... Because, you know, as much as I love kids, you know, I don't want to teach K through 12. I don't want to be a band director. And,
Same.
you know, well, you're the actual, you know, music ed major here. That's not a good sign.
Hey, I am too.
Oh. I didn't know that.
Go ahead.
And, you know, the amount of time that you're, you know, on the job that you're spending that isn't music related is a huge portion of it as well. And I didn't think I was up for it. Yeah.
You know, that's
It's
why
a lot of sacrifice.
yeah, that's why I literally did sacrifice. You know? Like education stuff, least amount of time as possible.
Oh my.
Least amount of time as possible.
I mean, from my perspective, I actually learn a lot too. Because like when you're explaining to your students about like technique, you kind of think about your playing. So you're like, wait, how did I do it? How did I move my muscle? How did I? So in a way, I actually gain more understanding, like in my playing through teaching as well. But you're absolutely correct. I completely agree. There's so many more to when you're a band director. There's so many more to teaching music. You're like a babysitter. You're like
exactly.
You have to do like you're an office worker. You have to deal with parents and
oh
yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen teachers just break down and start crying because from pressure. So
yeah, I heard there's
right.
actually a really high burnout rate for like first or second year teachers.
Well, I've seen band director that taught for like 10 years and all of a sudden they're like a real estate agent.
Oh man.
It just so happened I know a couple of them both became real estate agents, so I don't know.
Wow.
So
I want to say it's just because there's so many like expectations. So it's like you have to teach all these kids, and then if you're not like performing at your best and you're teaching these kids the way to where they're actually like successful, either whether it's like district band or like all state band, then everyone's basically going to pin all their blame on you.
Yeah.
So even if like a student isn't like practicing, they'll still maybe possibly deflect that at the band directors. Like, you're not doing your job correctly. I'm gonna email the superintendent or the district person and just like complain. And I think it's not even. I think it's that kind of like fear that if I'm not doing all of this work, I'm basically going to be out of a job soon or something similar to that.
Right. It's really tough. I mean, actually, another reason why I was considering doing the music ed, because I thought it would be, I was like, this would be, because, you know, I come from piano background. I also played, you know, violin for a few years. And then I also did band with trumpet before, and I've kind of like tried everything, and I was like, oh well, I heard that for music ed you kind of have to learn all the instruments because that's part of the program. And I was like, oh, that'd be no problem. But you know, I don't want to be like jack of all trades but master of none. And I thought it would probably be, you know, more productive for me to focus on, like, really focus on, you know, getting good at one thing.
I mean, I would kind of disagree. I mean, because...
Okay, well, obviously, I don't know. I didn't actually do it. Right.
Because all of us still have to do a recital. So, obviously, if you're a French horn player, you still did a French horn recital. You don't just play.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you have to do that, right? You have to do your instrument, but also you have to do all this other stuff, which takes away from your focus.
Yeah, so this
at least
is why
time-wise.
Shannon's regretting.
That was honestly the kind of vibe I got from undergrad was the music ed majors that I knew personally were like, I saw them at these different like ensemble rehearsals, but they were always playing like a different instrument. There's this one person who I graduated with. His name was Jordan Moore, and he's like a true like multi-instrumentalist. I think he knows how to play like every woodwind and brass instrument, and then he kind of knows how to play the basics of like some percussion instruments. So every single time I'd walk in, I'd just see him.
Band director material.
Yeah, he was a music ed major, and I would just walk in. He'd be playing tuba one day, and then he'd be playing like clarinet the next. And he was actually like pretty good at all of them. But I think that's more of like a rare case. He was like actually one of like two that I saw that actually did something like that. Like try to learn like literally everything.
Okay, how does this sound?
Oh, it's much better.
That sounds good.
There we go.
Oh, okay. Cool. Okay, cool.
Well, for those of you watching, if you are at all, I know it's a podcast, so you'll probably be just listening. But in case you are watching, Hope is here, but only in mic form, because we're having some camera issues. But that's okay. You'll still be able to hear. So
only in spirit.
In Mike's spirit.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's welcome our second guest, Hope. Yeah, sweet. Okay.
Hey. Hi, Arnor.
Hi.
Okay. Now that we have Hope, I kind of want to go back to one of the big composition questions. I know it's a lot of composition, Arnor, but
that's no problem.
You know, you are a famous composer after all.
You're kind of like a star.
Yeah.
Not really. No one knows who I am. I mean,
that's a false. All right.
The cap.
All right. Here it goes.
At least
Ready?
as of now.
Here it is. Here's the big question.
Yeah.
Okay.
That literally every person and their mother asks. What's your process?
What's my process?
There it is. I said it. I feel kind of dirty now, but I asked it.
I think I kind of went into it a little bit earlier.
The piano stuff?
Yeah, I feel like I have maybe two processes. The first one is the piano stuff, right? Like, when I feel like piano is still my most native instrument, and if I ever feel like, you know what, I want to write some music, I will sit down at piano. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's why, Sam thinks all my music is piano music. But it's because I sit down at piano, and the things that are, easy to play on piano might not carry over very well on marimba. And I definitely feel like some parts of some of my pieces, they totally are a little awkward on marimba. But I think the other biggest, I don't know, process for me to write music is from practicing. I might be practicing a piece, and then of course I lose focus and I just start, messing around. And once in a while, I'll play some run or something like that. I think, oh, you know what, this actually sounds really cool. And what I'll do is I'll record it. I just have a ton of these short, maybe 30-second, 1 minute video clips in my phone of just these little ideas that I have. And if I have time, I do try to develop it into a piece. I throw out most of them, maybe 95% of them. But I sometimes I just get these little things, and a lot of times if I've already started working on a piece and I'm trying to come up with more ideas, I'll just go back in my camera roll and I'll kind of listen to some of the stuff I've accidentally stumbled across, and I'll incorporate that.
Gotcha. Very insightful.
So Arnor, when you start getting into whatever process it is, do you think you're more organized when once you're in it, once you're in some type of process, if you found a good recording, or is it more oh, I think it's good, and you just kind of go with it, it's very free, after that you just kind of do whatever feels right?
Yeah, I think the first initial start of it is the biggest part. I feel like once I get the ball rolling, I get it rolling,
Nice.
And it just kind of comes together. But also, that is another thing that I'm struggling with is having a final product that is coherent and isn't just a ramble. Because it's really easy to have a really good idea and just keep developing, just keep it going and just keep going until where you don't know where you end up. But having a complete piece of music where after you finish playing it, you feel like, yeah, that was how it's supposed to be. That's how that came together nicely and wraps up nicely. I feel like that's the difficult part that I'm still struggling with, honestly.
How do you
that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. It for sure does. How do you feel about the... Michael knows what I'm about to ask, too.
Oh, boy. I'm not sure this is a good idea, Shane.
Why not? I think it's important. How do you feel about the process question? Because I've been asked that, too. And I've seen so many people ask the "What's your process?" question.
That's such a meta question.
It is, but I think it's important to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time it's been asked to me, honestly. I think, you see, the problem is I don't really know what other people do. I haven't really listened to podcasts where other composers have come on, or so I feel like it's a useful question, though. If I heard someone who I look up to tell me that they do this thing, I would probably try it. I'd be like, oh, you know what, maybe because they do it.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, whatever helps you come up with new stuff, whatever inspires you. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah.
Do do you really think it's like a process? Like, would you call it a process?
No, definitely
yeah,
not.
I agree. I totally agree.
No.
Like, it's not, to me, it's not really like, there is no process.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not like it. I was talking to them, like, before we did this episode, like, I don't sit there and, like, write, like, there's no, like, list. Like, there's not a list in my notes
actually,
or anything, like, you know
for me,
I mean?
it's impossible to just sit down and, like, you know, I'm going to come with a piece right now. You know, it just, at least, it just doesn't work for me like that. Yeah.
I get what you mean. Like, things that you listen to, or like, I guess what would constitute, like, is that a word? Did I just say a word?
Constitute?
Yeah.
Is a word.
Yeah. I'm just making. Wow.
Yeah,
I woke up at 6:45 a.m. every day,
Wow.
so I'm kind of tired.
Oh man.
But
That's when I went to bed.
Nice. Oh man, what was I gonna say? Constitute. I said constitute. That's what I did say.
What does that mean? Do you know what
that I should look? You know.
You were talking about listening to music.
Oh yeah. So like, I guess the only thing that like really constitutes a process, or like a process that I would consider for myself, is like, if I want to write something, I'll generally just start listening to music. Just like a bunch of, like, anything I can get my hands on. Like, it doesn't matter what genre, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the same for you or anything, but...
Yeah, I mean, you know, maybe not, like, consciously, like, oh, I'm going to listen to this music so I can come up with something like it.
Yeah, it's not, like, it's not like, conscious, like, every time, you know? Like,
right.
It could be just, like, out of, you know, just at a random moment, you know, something could pop up, but...
Yeah, exactly. So it's really just getting a huge amount of music, like a big library. I feel like, you know, to be a good composer, you have to be well read, right? You have to know a lot of music. And I mean, we were just talking about this earlier, and why, you know, I don't feel like I'm a composer. But you know, I try to listen to a lot of music. I try to listen to music that I don't think I'm really going to like. Because if you only listen to music that you like and that you're already familiar with, you're not really going to get any new ideas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, for sure. For sure. I had one more.
I have one more question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just, well, it might be kind of personal, but like, I think, what's your career goal? I'm just curious. Have you ever thought about
What's
that?
my career goal?
Because obviously you're so talented, you have many paths that you could choose. I'm just curious, have you ever
that's
thought
a
about
tough one, right? You know, okay, well, so I'm at BU right now, which in the music schools is definitely really orchestral focused. That was actually when I was in high school, my teachers, he was really concerned about me coming to BU. He really wanted me to go to Eastman, which, you know, because, you know, Burt was his teacher. And he's like, yeah, you're going to get a way more rounded education if you go to Eastman. Unfortunately, financial reasons, I really wanted to go too, but financial reasons, I couldn't afford it. Eastman is so expensive. And I kind of couldn't, you know, I couldn't pass up a full ride. So here I am. And I totally understand how the people that you study with, the people that you're surrounded with, affects, you know, what you think you want to go into. And everyone in our studio wants to play in a major orchestra. Everyone wants to win an audition. And I walk in the studio, first thing I hear is like, you know, there's Appalachian Spring, you know, like I'm just like excerpts. That's all I'm hearing all day. And I'm not gonna lie, like I'm not gonna write orchestral, you know, playing orchestra off the list. And if I get the chance to audition for an orchestra, I'm probably going to take it. Because right now, I'm not trying to limit my options. But realistically speaking, I'm probably not going to win a job in orchestra. That's just, I don't think I'm up for that. And composing, also, I mean, like who has made their living just as a composer for percussion? You know what I mean? Not a lot of people. That's also very hard. Though I think it's something that I want to do for the rest of my life. It's something I want to keep on the side, or maybe as a focus. But honestly, right now, I really do want to teach. I know we were just talking about the music ad talk, but I don't, I didn't do music ed because I don't think K through 12 being a band director is for me. But teaching percussion and something that I'm really passionate about, that would probably be my ideal job.
So like teaching at a university.
Yeah.
Or just like, oh, okay. Is that like the
teaching at a university, or having my own studio, or but definitely in combination with something else, in combination while performing, while writing music. And I think honestly that's like everyone's kind of dream, isn't it? I feel like a lot of people, it isn't just one thing.
Yeah, you and I are very similar
Right.
in that idea. Like that's why I was talking about earlier, like doing ed. It was like realizing that I didn't necessarily need that to become a professor.
Right.
It kind of like I was like, oh well, why did I even go through this? But I mean, again, it's not like I regret it at all. I think there's still some like value in it. But yeah, just like full circle idea.
Right. Yeah, I think the biggest thing about
have you guys
teaching. Yeah, go.
Hope.
Well, I was just gonna.
Yeah.
Have you guys
Great
talked
hope.
about Texas, like teaching in Texas?
Teaching in Texas. We talked about
Yeah, like have you
where
guys talked about that at all?
I mean, we talked about like what the coasts really like focus on, like West Coast marching, Texas kind of in the middle, East Coast very orchestral and like concert. But we didn't talk about like teaching in Texas. Did you have something on that, or?
Well, yeah, because I feel like like if it's not university stuff, then like I know a bunch of people who teach in Texas who make a good living off of composing and just teaching lessons, and they make more than most band directors or some college professors would make just like doing that.
I have seen
they
that.
write for like several bands, or just
yeah.
I mean, it's like it's kind of rare.
It is possible.
Yeah, the thing is, what we talked about earlier with, because I'm from California, I've never been to Texas. I hope to go one day.
You should come visit us.
Yeah, I'd love to. But at least in California, we get the feeling that Texas has this huge band thing.
That's crazy.
And it's just huge on music. And I mean, I'm just gonna be like, it doesn't matter if I say this, but a lot of the people who buy my music are from Texas. And that just kind of reinforced my idea that, the band thing is huge in Texas. Because when I think of people who are buying marimba solos, people who are buying marimba duets, in my head, majority of them probably aren't college students. I feel like they're high school students who are trying to learn a piece for INE competition, or, and anyway, that's why I always felt like Texas is this huge like band thing where it's at least a lot bigger than California.
You could keep track of your data. I'm
sorry,
curious.
what?
So like a little bit information about your fire? Is that what it? Like,
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's kind of cool. Wait. So you said Texas is the largest?
I feel like I get a lot from Texas. Yeah.
I feel like Texas is like I said, it's like it does both pretty like fairly evenly, but it's kind of like, oh, sorry, David, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think it's because Texas is the rare case that it's like kind of like the only state where it kind of excels at both, like marching percussion and like classical percussion.
I see that.
Because if you think, when you think about like all the marching bands that are like in the top divisions of like the countries, like marching band stuff, a lot of the Texas and also California schools are up in there. But then I've also known that Texas is like all-state is like the most competitive in the entire country.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing. It's like I've had multiple students that are like emailing me about this Texas like prescribed like all-state list or something.
The PML.
Yeah, and apparently I didn't know about it at all, but apparently it's such a big thing. Like
yeah, it's like the PML is essentially what the high schoolers and middle schoolers are allowed to take to, like you said, I&E, but we call it solo and ensemble contest.
Oh, okay.
And that's like, the big solo and ensemble contest, and there's like a music list that they can choose from. Like it has like everything that you can, like, I guess, quote unquote legally play. you know?
Yeah.
So that's what they're probably talking about.
Yeah, I had no idea. Yeah.
So you're saying it is in it now? It's in the PML list right now, or are they asking you to?
Yeah, they're asking me to get it in the list.
Oh, okay.
You should get it in.
You should. You definitely could get it in there.
Yeah, I looked it up. They only accept applications like once every 2 years, I think. Or like every year, it's like they get applications for different groups, and the one for percussion passed like last year. So I might have to wait a year for that. But yeah, I will probably try eventually.
That's a lot of money if you get it in. Like
that is a
lot of kids
yes. Because like Texas, like that's like the I think David said it's like the biggest thing, like solo and ensemble, like all state contest, and it's like if you look at that and like your piece is on there, like so many kids are gonna be looking at that list to play something, and And
let's be honest, we all get tired of listening to ring dance.
Oh, of course.
It's time
or
for some Until Dawn, man.
Like Fry, like that used to be a 1.
Fry? Oh yeah.
Like.
Oh yeah, we have different tiers.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know about those? The tiers?
I have no idea.
So like I think it's 1 through 5.
Okay.
And then 1 being like the most difficult.
I think it's 3. Is
it 3? Oh.
I think rating is 1 to 5. So if you get 1, you get a medal.
Yeah.
And then you get to advance to an all-state solo competition, which is hosted in UT Austin. So we go there during this, I think May to I don't know. I don't want to get into it.
But there's also like a tier list of difficulty for the solos.
Yeah, that you could choose.
And those are those numbers. 1 being the hardest.
But then, like, ring dance is also in 1. So, like,
what?
Yeah. So that kind of leads me to my thing I was gonna say. Like Texas is like I said, like it's a big, like, it takes in both sides, like concert and marching. But like it's the whole like you mentioned earlier, like. What was the phrase? Jack of all trades, but master at none. It's like that idea. Like I feel like Texas isn't like they're still not like well versed in both. You know what I mean? Like they can do them.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I think California is very marching heavy, but they excel in it. And then I feel like East Coast, like. Again, like very orchestral and concert heavy, and they excel in it. but then Texas
Right.
is like that middle ground. Which, I mean, I'm not saying that it's like lesser than, you know, like they're still good, good stuff. But if that makes sense, I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Anyway, we're like 2 minutes away from calling this episode Texas, so we should probably stop.
Yeah, that's true. This ain't about Texas, man.
Anyway, Arno, how should?
Hope, did you? I think you had a question here that you might have wanted to ask.
Oh yeah. So we were talking a lot about career choice, and we kind of like forgot about school and that Arnor, you know, we're all in school. But anyways, thinking about that, like, how do you think you would balance it could be composing career, it could be career in general, right? Because what if you start teaching, and your studies? Like, how do you think that fits right now, and how do you think that would fit, you know, in 2 years when you're about to graduate?
I think that's a really good question, because I mean, earlier I said that right now, at least, student for me is the primary, is like, that's my job right now. Like, I'm a student, and I'm not really thinking about career so much, because I feel like right now I just got to focus on becoming a good player, because, you know, it, like, again, this is going from that App Percussion podcast that I was into, and they were talking about this too, where it's like, you can have this, you know, they were talking about social media, right? You can have this presence, you can like make yourself look so good, but if your actual like skill isn't there, then you're nothing, right? And I feel like I still have a long ways to go in terms of just becoming a well-rounded musician. So right now, my balance is totally schoolwork first. And I'm, you know, as for my non-existent career, my quote-unquote career, which is, it's really just passive, right? I just have my stuff up, and then people buy it, and I just send out some emails. I mean, that's my career. And I was actually a little concerned that, you know, even right now, it's like a good amount of time taken out of my day. I'm not gonna lie. You know, even though it's just, for the most part, sending out emails, I think the bigger your operation gets, the more stuff you have to do, right? You know, even just talking about just the business side of things, right? People, you know, they want, you know, like if for example, a band director is trying to buy, they need like the tax forms, or if, you know, even just like customers making errors, like they accidentally buy 2 copies and you have to do the refund, you have to, you know, contact them, or people who are doing the INE stuff and their judges need a hard copy, and you got to figure that out. You know, there's like just a lot of stuff that comes on top of that, and that's just the business side, right? And it's already starting to pile up where, you know, I'm literally not doing anything. I just have my stuff up there for people to buy, and I have to spend all this time. That I'm afraid, if I am really trying to put my effort into here, that it's totally gonna take up all my time, and I don't feel like that would be a smart move, at least right now. Like, you know, I should, yeah.
Well, that's good. That's really good. I think that's great, because, like you said, skills first. You know, some experiences here and there, that's fine. But
right.
Yeah, I think we all are focusing on just developing ourselves, and I think that's most important. So,
yeah.
I don't know, that's a great answer. I love that.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very, very nice. Well, I think, what do you guys think? Is that a good spot? I got any more questions for our guest Arnor? Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've heard it. No, the
You know, I ask now, like at the end, like, am I saying that right?
Oh, it's almost been 2 hours.
No, it's actually wrong. No, the one I get most often is when they read the R and the N as a M, and it's like amor. That's probably the most common.
What?
That's the most common one,
man.
especially the font is like
Chu.
a little. Yeah, and that sounds like it could be a name, right? You know,
Amor.
at least more normal than Arnor, right? But, yeah.
All
So
right. Sweet. Well, now that I know I'm pronouncing it right, do we have any more questions for Arnor?
I think this is a good place to end.
It's a good place.
It's a
Don't
good
worry, I'll
luck.
edit it all out. You know, all the
All
weird
right.
stuff. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you
all
have to
right.
say the final sentence.
What do I have to say? I still haven't figured it out. If I'm being
I
honest.
asked you to write one.
Oh,
That was
right.
the
You know,
assignment.
I'm just so
Assignment.
busy. You know, doing all these other
You
things.
guys gotta get the
Yeah.
format. You guys gotta get the format together.
Yeah.
Man,
You know.
we have to get
Hey.
together.
This is episode 8, man. We're not on episode like 400. We haven't got it all figured out. You know.
That's true.
So yeah, thank you again, Arnor, for
Yeah, thanks for having me.
coming on. Yes, of course, of
It's
course.
really fun.
If you guys want to check out Arnor's any of his media stuff, I will leave links for whatever he wants down in the description that you can check it out. But yeah, thanks again, Arnor. We'll see you guys next time on the next episode with our next guest.
All right.
Peace.
Bye.
Nice.